welcome back to another tabletop talk. I like the title of that, but it's a little hard to say. I had a suggestion from Roger Ramjet. He says, one suggestion is to discuss how you like to play out the seasons. I find that playing every game in a 162 or 154 game season is just too much. Does the gaming community like to play them all, play abbreviated seasons, play just the playoffs, play just selected games? I would like to hear a discussion of this and suggestions. So I thought I would put my 2 cents worth in. There's some really good discussions of these types of things on YouTube and online, on a lot of the forums at Delphi especially. You'll find Inside Pitch, Replay, Stratomatic, Payoff Pitch. They all have their own sites. You can just search once you get into Delphi, and a lot of good conversations there. But again, thought I would put my 2 cents worth in. The first thing I would say is that there's no right or wrong way. It's amazing and interesting to me, the guilt aspect that plays into this. People feel like they should play a certain way because they just feel like they should. Other people do. I find that kind of funny. I even see it in myself. Sometimes if I don't finish a project, I feel guilt. That's really funny to me because this is supposed to be fun. And that's the goal, is to do what you enjoy doing. And that's going to be different to different degrees for different gamers. I myself started as a kid with Stratomatic. Back then, the options weren't nearly as great. I had one season, and so I played out a whole season for the Houston Astros. But even that, it was difficult. You know, which team do you pick? American League, National League. I grew up in Cincinnati, and so I'm a National League fan. No DH, that kind of thing. In '83, which was the first season I purchased, they were pretty bad, so I didn't feel like replaying that after having watched it all season. So that was where I started. I got out of it for a while, off and on, did some Diamond Mine, some computer things, and here in the last couple years, have got back into the cards and dice. Was perfectly content doing Stratomatic until I made the mistake of trying other games. And so I've tried Inside Pitch, History Maker, Payoff Pitch, and then looked at some other ones. And so my point in all that is to experiment. You don't really know what you're going to enjoy until you try different things. I know a lot of us can't buy 10 seasons of every game, but you can buy selector sets. You can buy World Series teams just to try out the game. And then once you do that, then experiment with how you'd like to play. I know Roger had some great suggestions. For him, playing a whole season was a lot. That's one thing about baseball, is a little different than some of the other sports. The season is so long, and it kind of lends itself to that. Football, I think you can get a good idea of the quality of the teams by one game or a tournament or a series. With baseball, it's not so much. You can take a little snippet of any season, just say April, and the results there will be usually vastly different from what the whole season will be. Guys can hit 450 and then end up hitting 210 for the season. And so, for me personally, doing series, even a World Series, baseball lends itself to a full season. So for me, that's what I do. Now, a big part of what I enjoy is when I do a replay is to get to know the year. And so what I have find that I'm liking to do lately is to do one team in each league. because I do older seasons before the advent of interleague play. And so by doing that, I get a good sample of both leagues. And so I like that. Now, having said that, I have yet to finish anything. And that's another conversation is not only what kind of replay, but how many. Right now, I have probably 6 or 7 projects going. I have 1920 Stratomatic doing the White Sox. I started doing some payoff pitch, and I have 64 going, 69. Started 58 in replay, and I've kind of switched that to payoff pitch. So I'm finding, as far as how many, that it's nice to have a couple going, because if you get really frustrated with a losing streak on one of your teams, then it's nice to be able to have something else you can go to. But I'm also finding that for me, I like to get into the season, and it's hard to do that when I have a lot of them going, because when I come back to it, it's like I forgot kind of who's hot, who's not, and I kind of lose a bit of that ambiance that I like. And so I think I'm finding that I prefer to have just a couple projects. I mean, even doing 2 teams, one in each league, that gives you quite a bit of variety. So I'm thinking, jumping in and trying to just focus on a couple at a time and get them done, and see, how that goes. So some suggestions. I mean, World Series. A lot of people enjoy doing that, or playoffs. That's a lot of fun. Short seasons, where you just do a 60-game season and see how that goes. Again, that's not so much for me because it feels incomplete. I know, like even the 2020 season, I haven't purchased any of those because it just doesn't feel like a full season to me. And also, I'm not a real big fan of modern baseball. Again, everybody has their own preferences, but for me, I don't like DH. I don't like home runs and strikeouts. I prefer the older game, and I know even free agency. I mean, you just can't follow anybody. And again, I'm not dissing it. That's just not something I prefer. I like old baseball. And so amazing thing of this hobby is that I can go back and relive that. I can watch Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle play, so to speak, in my mind's eye, and see how they perform day to day and things like that. So for me, I like that. So having said that, I like the complete seasons, and and then you have the playoffs and things like that. A lot of people like to do what ifs and fantasy, where they do cross era games. Again, I don't like that as much. But again, it's not what I like that matters. It's what you like. If you try it and like it, then, do it. There is no right or wrong. The whole point of this is to have fun with guilt-free, and again, it boggles my mind that we feel that way, but I do, and I know other gamers do as well. But again, playing the 27 Yankees versus, your favorite, the 76 Reds. And, to me, Diamond Mind they do like a cross era, but if you don't have some kind of modifier there, it's really not fair, because, 27, the offense was a lot. So if you played a team against, from a 68 team, where the offense was really low, it's a little bit like apples and oranges. Again, I'm open to comments. I know a lot of people enjoy that, and I'm not poo-pooing it. It's just, for me, if there's not some kind of leveler there to make it more, apples and apples, I don't enjoy that as much. And again, I just like replays. That's kind of why I called my YouTube channel the Replay Gamer. I enjoy replays. I enjoy watching a season unfold. I enjoy the ups and the downs, and getting to see the different teams and going to the different towns, so to speak, and watching them play. So again, that's what I enjoy. But if a lot of guys enjoy the fantasy, and definitely nothing wrong with that. Um, and picking a team. One thing I would like to do one day is to replay a whole season playing every game. I know that is probably the mother load replay. The big daddy is to play, replay and roll every game. But that's something that's kind of on my bucket list to do sometime. But even doing two teams is a big undertaking. I think I'm like on the 54 replay. I just was doing just the Braves, the Milwaukee Braves in the National League. I came up with doing one in each after I started that, but I'm like 50 games into that. I'm like 70 games into my Stratomatic 1920 Chicago White Sox replay, which is really fascinating because that was the year after they threw the series, and they played just about up till the end of the season, and ended up losing the pennant, and partly because of that. So, that's what I like to do. And again, I'm still fleshing it out. I've only been back into this for a couple years, and I've been able to pick the games I like, and that changes too. Um, and yeah, a big thing for me when I'm doing my replays is having a computer manager. At first, I didn't really enjoy playing against myself and second guessing myself, but with Payoff Pitch's game engine and the way it plays, it has won me over. I mean, I enjoy that so much that I'm okay not having a computer manager, but I do enjoy that. So I know like Replay and Stratomatic, they both have computer versions, and the computer managers are pretty good. And so I'm hoping that Payoff Pitch one day will do that. When you're inputting stats into Replay, using a different engine, the manager is not doing much, if anything. And so I kind of lose that. So, but having said that, I'm kind of learning how to do that to where I don't feel guilty. I'll use the decider dice sometime. I know Payoff Pitch and Replay, for that matter, has automated steals. Inside Pitch does as well. So that kind of helps me, where I'll make the decisions for one team and then let the auto make decisions, because you want to be fair. And it's when you're replaying one team, you're kind of rooting for that team. And I want to make sure, again, for my fun, that I'm not skewing it to, make my team win. I wouldn't enjoy that as much. It's kind of like cheating, what's the fun of that? So again, figuring that out, how to input stats. Do you like to do paper and figure it out by yourself, or do you, score? I forget the name of it. Ball score, where you can put in stats that way, and that works. Again, using Stratomatic or Replay's computer game to input stats. A lot of people still like to do it by hand. I'm not one of them. To me, that's too time consuming. And that's another aspect to consider is the time involved. Not only the length of the project, but how much time do you want to spend per game? Some people they want a game done in an hour or less, or they're not enjoying it. Other people are okay for the longer games. Do you keep score? That obviously adds time to it. Do you do a YouTube channel where you're trying to broadcast it? That obviously adds time to it. And so again, the only way you can really figure that out is to experiment and try different things, guilt-free. If you try something and you don't like it, then there's no shame in that. It's okay to try something else and see if you enjoy that. So, and then also a big thing you can do, which I did, and then starting to try to help other people do, is to watch other people. I know Baseball Demos. He has a lot of different games, and he's tried some different things, and he talks a lot about what he likes to do. And there's a lot of other great YouTube channels out there. I have learned as I've got back into this hobby, ideas and suggestions from watching those guys. And another big thing about that is that it motivates me to play. Sometimes I'll just not be in the mood, and so I'll lay on the couch and put on baseball demos, and I'll get through about 3 innings, and it's like I have to get it out and play it myself. And so that's kind of a motivation, which is good. I know when I was a kid, it was the same way. I'd watch the game of the week on TV, and I couldn't get through 3 innings before I'd call my friend up and we'd go out and play baseball ourselves. So watching other people do it kind of motivates you to do it. And so, again, because baseball does lend itself to the long season, for me, I had to be okay with that. I mean, it actually took me some time. It's like, well, this is going to take forever. It was like, well, big deal. If you come back to it when you have the time, again, if you're making yourself feel guilty about it to where, I've got to get this game in today, then that just takes all the fun out of it. At least it does for me. And, so if I don't get to a game, no big deal. It's not going to go anywhere. I don't remember where I read it, but somebody was talking about how that they kind of imagined that the players were, a little bit like Field of Dreams, where they were waiting for them to come and play, and that, brought them to life, so to speak. For some reason, that analogy has helped my gaming. I don't know why, but it's like, Brooks Robinson is waiting for me, So experiment, watch YouTube channel guys and, see what they do, and see if you're watching something and it looks like fun, try it. And, again, and try different games. At least I suggest that. If you're perfectly content and have no desire, then go with it, But, I don't think, I think trying the different games give me a much better idea of what I wanted to do. And so, again, Payoff Pitch has kind of scratched that itch that other games really weren't. And, again, if they get a computer version, I'll be in gamer heaven. So, anyway, that's kind of my 2 cents. A lot of different things you could say and talk about in this topic. Hopefully, I hope everybody will take the time to add some comments. It's very helpful to each other as we hear suggestions and ideas. Again, respectfully, some people get really almost like a zealot for their way of playing. And, there's really no need for that. But it's good to share, say what you do and why you like to do it. And that might, cause something in somebody to say, you know what, that sounds like something I might like to do. But again, the whole goal is to have fun. So if you can have fun, playing once a week, then play once a week and enjoy the game. Sometimes you can enjoy the game. It doesn't have to be enjoy the whole season, and so again, doing that, you could do one-off games, and so again, just experiment, try different things, see what you like, and go with that. So I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.